Your salary is lying to you. Right now, millions of people are staring at their paychecks, thinking they understand their financial destiny. They see numbers, they see security, they see progress. But what they're really looking at is one of the biggest illusions in modern economics. You think your salary determines your wealth. You think a higher number means a better future. You think that promotion will finally set you free. But here's the plot twist that nobody wants you to discover. Your salary might actually be the very thing standing between you and real financial freedom. The relationship between what you earn and what you keep isn't just about math. It's about biology, psychology, and a financial system that profits from your predictable behavior patterns. Let's start with a shocking truth that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about money. Your brain is hardwired to sabotage your financial future, and your salary is the perfect accomplice. Think of your mind like a thermostat. When the temperature gets too high, it kicks in to cool things down. Your brain does the exact same thing with money, and researchers call this phenomenon lifestyle inflation. The moment your salary increases, your brain starts recalibrating what feels normal. That $50,000 salary that once felt like winning the lottery. Now it's your baseline. Studies suggest that within just 6 months of a salary increase, most people return to their previous levels of financial satisfaction. Your thermostat resets. Your standards rise. Your expenses expand to fill whatever container you've provided. It's not willpower that's failing you. It's evolution. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, adapt and survive. But in a world of credit cards and lifestyle creep, this survival mechanism becomes a wealth destroyer. The salary trap works like quicksand. The more you struggle with traditional thinking, the deeper you sink. You see other people making six figures and assume they're rich. You look at your own paycheck and think more money equals more security. But here's what the data reveals. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck regardless of their income level. That includes people making $100,000, $150,000, even $200,000 a year. The trap isn't the amount you make. The trap is believing that earning more automatically translates to having more. Taxes slice away 25% to 40%, depending on your bracket. Health insurance, retirement contributions, and other deductions carve out another chunk. By the time the money hits your bank account, that impressive salary has been reduced to something far more modest. But your brain still thinks in terms of the big number. You make decisions based on gross income while living on net income. It's like planning a road trip based on your car's gas tank capacity, while ignoring that it's already half empty. Here's where it gets really twisted. Your salary doesn't just affect how much money you have. It literally rewires your brain's reward system, creating addiction-like patterns that keep you trapped in cycles of earning and spending. Every time you get paid, your brain releases dopamine. But here's the kicker. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical. It's the anticipation chemical. It fires when you expect a reward, not when you get it. This is why you feel that rush on payday, but by day 3, the money feels normal again. Your brain is already anticipating the next hit, the next paycheck, the next raise. You're not working for money anymore. You're working for the neurochemical hit that comes from earning money. The most dangerous part. Your salary creates a false sense of security that prevents you from taking the risks necessary to build real wealth. Think of it like a golden cage. The bars are made of benefits, steady paychecks, and predictable income. Inside the cage, you feel safe, but real wealth isn't built through salaries. It's built through ownership. Equity, assets that generate income while you sleep. Your salary trains you to think in terms of trading time for money. But wealthy people think in terms of money making money. Let's talk about what your salary actually reveals about your financial future, and it's not what you think. Your salary is like looking at a single frame from a movie and trying to predict how the story ends. A person making $45,000 who saves 20% of their income will likely be wealthier in 30 years than someone making $90,000 who saves 5%. Studies show that income is one of the weakest predictors of long-term wealth accumulation. Financial behaviors like savings rate and investment consistency matter far more than the raw number on your paycheck. The real question isn't how much you make. The real question is how much you keep and what you do with what you keep. Every dollar that flows through your hands has 3 possible destinations: consumption, savings, or investment. Your salary determines how many dollars flow through your hands, but your financial future is determined by how you direct that flow. Think of money like water flowing through a river system. Your salary is the size of the river, But whether that water ends up in the ocean, evaporates into thin air, or gets channeled into reservoirs and irrigation systems depends entirely on the infrastructure you build around it. Most people focus all their attention on making the river bigger while completely ignoring the fact that their infrastructure is full of leaks, has no storage capacity, and directs almost everything straight to immediate consumption. Here's where the science gets really interesting. Researchers have identified the paradox of choice when it comes to salary and financial decision-making. As your income increases, the number of financial options available explodes. This should make people better at managing money, right? Wrong. The abundance of choices often leads to decision paralysis and worse financial outcomes. People making $40,000 a year often have clearer financial priorities than people making $140,000. Constraints force clarity. Abundance breeds confusion. Now let's expose the biggest lie your salary tells you about your financial future. Ready for this? Your salary makes you believe that your income is your wealth. But income and wealth are not just different things, they're often inversely related. High income can actually prevent wealth accumulation if it's not managed properly. Wealth is assets minus liabilities. It's what you own minus what you owe. It's your net worth, not your gross income. Your salary can contribute to wealth building, but it can just as easily contribute to wealth destruction. A doctor making $300,000 a year, who has $250,000 in student loans, a $500,000 mortgage, and spends $200,000 annually on lifestyle expenses has a negative net worth despite their impressive income. Meanwhile, a teacher making $50,000, who lives on $35,000, saves $15,000 annually, and has no debt, is actively building wealth every single month. The doctor's high salary creates an obligation to maintain a certain lifestyle. The teacher's modest salary forces financial discipline. Guess which one is more likely to retire comfortably? Here's the plot twist that changes everything. Your salary is not your ceiling. It's your floor. But most people treat it like a ceiling. They look at their paycheck and think, this is what I'm worth. This is what I can afford. This is my limit. But successful people treat their salary as the foundation, not the roof. They use their job income to fund investments, start side businesses, acquire assets, and build multiple income streams. Your salary should be the seed money for your financial garden, not the entire harvest. Think about it this way. If your job disappeared tomorrow, how long would your lifestyle survive? For most people, the answer is somewhere between 2 weeks and 2 months. That's not financial security. That's financial dependency. True financial security comes from having assets that generate income independent of your labor. Your salary can help you acquire those assets, but only if you stop thinking of it as your destination and start thinking of it as your vehicle. The psychology of salary creates another dangerous illusion. The belief that your worth as a person is tied to your earning capacity. When your self-worth is tied to your salary, you make irrational choices. You stay in jobs you hate because they pay well. You avoid career risks that could lead to massive long-term gains. You buy things you don't need to signal success. Your salary becomes a prison not just for your finances, but for your entire life. Breaking free requires separating your identity from your income. Let me share something that will completely flip your perspective on how salary relates to financial freedom. The goal isn't to increase your salary to match your desired lifestyle. The goal is to decrease your required lifestyle, to create a gap between what you earn and what you need. Financial independence isn't about earning enough to afford everything you want. It's about wanting little enough that your assets can afford your lifestyle, without requiring your labor. Rich people have high incomes. Wealthy people have high net worth. The magic happens in the gap between earning and spending. Most people try to solve financial problems by increasing their income. But research shows that the most effective approach is optimizing the relationship between income and expenses. A 10% salary increase might improve your lifestyle marginally, but a 10% decrease in required expenses has the same financial impact while reducing your dependence on your job. Every dollar you don't need to spend is a dollar that can compound for decades. This is why frugality isn't about deprivation. It's about freedom. Here's a mind-bending fact about salary and financial futures: the highest paid people often have the least financial security. High earners face unique challenges that can actually make them more financially vulnerable. First, they experience lifestyle inflation on steroids. When you go from making $50,000 to $150,000, your brain doesn't just adjust spending by $100,000. It often adjusts by more because your new income opens up entirely new categories of expenses. Expensive cars, larger homes, private schools. Each increase brings access to a whole new tier of lifestyle options. Second, high earners often work in high-stress, high-turnover industries. Third, they become accustomed to a lifestyle that requires their continued high performance. The relationship between salary and taxes creates another layer of complexity that most people completely misunderstand. As your salary increases, your effective tax rate increases dramatically. A person making $50,000 might keep 75% of their gross income after taxes. A person making $200,000 might keep only 60%. This means that doubling your salary doesn't double your take-home pay. Every additional dollar you earn is taxed at your marginal rate, which could be 35% or higher. This is why wealthy people focus on capital gains and other forms of investment income, which are often taxed at lower rates than ordinary income. Let's talk about the most counterintuitive truth about salary and financial security. Ready? Your ability to live below your means is more important than your ability to increase your means. This isn't about being cheap or living in poverty. This is about understanding that financial security comes from having options and options come from having a surplus. When your expenses consume your entire income, you have no options. You can't invest. You can't take risks. You can't weather emergencies. You can't pursue opportunities. You're financially fragile regardless of how impressive your salary looks on paper. But when you create a meaningful gap between your income and expenses, you suddenly have choices. You can invest that surplus to generate passive income. You can save it as an emergency fund that gives you security. You can use it to start a business or acquire skills that increase your long-term earning potential. The gap between your income and expenses is where your financial future lives. Everything else is just survival. Your salary also creates temporal discounting bias. Your brain overvalues immediate rewards and undervalues future benefits. When you see money in your paycheck, your brain wants to spend it now rather than invest it for later. A $500 monthly luxury car payment represents potentially hundreds of thousands in lost investment returns over 30 years. Your brain doesn't make this connection because immediate satisfaction is tangible while future returns are abstract. Here's something that will change how you think about your financial timeline forever. Your salary is temporary, but your financial habits are permanent. You will not always have your current job. You will not always be able to work at your current capacity. But the financial systems you build while you're earning will either support you or abandon you when your earning years end. Every month that you live paycheck to paycheck is a month where you're betting your entire future on your ability to continue working. Building wealth through salary requires treating your job income as temporary fuel for permanent financial structures. The final truth about what your salary says about your financial future might surprise you. It says almost nothing. Your salary is like the opening scene of a movie. It sets the stage, but it doesn't determine the ending. Your financial future is written not by your income level but by your financial intelligence, your savings discipline, and your ability to delay gratification. History is full of people who earned modest salaries but died millionaires because they understood compound growth. Your salary gives you raw material. Your financial habits determine what you build with that material. The most liberating realization is that you don't need a high salary to build wealth. You need a sustainable gap between your income and expenses, and you need time for compound growth to work. A person who saves $200 per month starting at age 25 will have more money at retirement than someone who saves $1,000 per month starting at age 45, assuming similar investment returns. Time is more powerful than income. Consistency is more important than amount. Understanding this truth frees you from the endless pursuit of salary increases and allows you to focus on the variables you can actually control: your savings rate, your investment allocation, and your timeline. So what does your salary really say about your financial future? It says you have fuel. Whether you use that fuel to drive in circles, power a lifestyle that keeps you dependent on your job, or build an engine that eventually runs without you is entirely up to you. Your paycheck is not your destiny. It's your opportunity. The question is, what will you do with it? Think about someone you know who seems to have it all figured out financially. I bet it's not the person with the highest salary. It's the person who lives intentionally, saves consistently, and thinks long-term. What would your life look like if you stopped focusing on increasing your income and started optimizing your relationship with money? If this video changed how you think about your financial future, smash that like button and subscribe for more content that challenges conventional wisdom about money. Share this with someone who needs to hear that their salary doesn't define their financial potential. And drop a comment telling me what your biggest takeaway was, because I read every single one and they help me create better content for you. Remember, your financial future isn't written by your paycheck. It's written by your choices.